the new lady director of whatever the next Star Wars movie is going to be, just gave a talk. I guess she was being interviewed by Jon Stewart at a panel called Women in the World. And she said that her goal for the next Star Wars movie is to make a really entertaining and beautiful movie that everyone's going to enjoy. Just kidding. What she said was her goal is to make men feel uncomfortable.
What is the balance of activating a force for change, but also trying to permeate that patriarchy, that power structure? And is that a part of the calculation of your art as well? And what's been the reaction to that?
Oh, absolutely. I like to make men uncomfortable. I enjoy making men uncomfortable. Not you, just
not you.
Not you.
Point taken, point taken.
But, it is important to be able to look into the eyes of a man and say, I am here, and recognize that. And recognize that I am working to bring something that makes you uncomfortable, and it should make you uncomfortable because you need to change your attitude. And it's only when you're uncomfortable, when you're shifty, when you have to have difficult conversations that you will perhaps look at yourself in the mirror and not like the reflection.
So this clip is from some years ago. This lady's name is Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy, and it's coming to the forefront now because she's directing whatever the next Star Wars movie is. And everyone is rightly concluding from this that the next Star Wars movie is going to be terrible. That's been true of pretty much all the Disney Star Wars movies. There was that one exception. What was it? Rogue One, I think, was okay, but the rest of them have been just absolutely unbearably bad. And the next one is probably going to be even worse. But everyone's just making fun of her and saying she's a crazy feminist and she's going to ruin Star Wars, which was ruined many years ago. She does have a point. She does have a point. She says, I want to make men uncomfortable. Men need to feel uncomfortable. And I think that's true. Not in the way that she intends it, but I think it's true. She thinks that men are uncomfortable because they've never given their power away to women. Men are uncomfortable because they've never accepted feminism. Men are uncomfortable because they're living as the beneficiaries of the patriarchy. That's all fake news. That's all completely ridiculous. The opposite is true. And that is why men need to feel uncomfortable. Men feel discomfort wielding power. This goes all the way back to chapter 3 of the book of Genesis, when Adam and Eve sin and God tells them what their punishment is going to be. And their punishment is in a way a blessing because God is equipping man and woman to live in the fallen world. He's preparing them for that. And he says to Eve, he says to the woman, your desire will be for your man, but he shall rule over you. Men, contrary to what feminists think, don't actually want to lord over women. They don't want to. They don't want to be knuckle dragging, screaming, barking orders everywhere, making every single decision, just bossing everyone around. That's not what men actually want. You know what men actually want? Men want to sit on the couch and eat potato chips and be left alone. That is what men would do if we had our druthers. It is a total lie of feminism that we want to be just stomping around, barking orders at everybody. That's not what men want to do. We don't want to make every decision. We don't want to have all the responsibility. We don't want the weight of a household and a family on our shoulders. We just kind of want to be left alone. That's our at least base appetite, to be resistant. What we have to do, what we are called to rise up to do, is be responsible and make decisions and take accountability. And that's what men need to do now. Men, part of the reason that we have a lot of social dysfunction is because men won't act like men. Men feel uncomfortable acting like men. So we cede every responsibility to women. So we act like women. So in some cases, we chop ourselves up and try to pretend to be women. That's not good. Do you really think that the social problems of America in the year of our Lord 2024 are that men are too masculine? Men are too manly these days? Are you kidding me? Give me a break. If social problems have increased over the last 50 years, as I think we would all have to agree they have. Over that period, have men become more manly or less manly? Have men become more patriarchal or less patriarchal? Have men become more feminist or less feminist? The answers are very, very clear. I totally agree with what's-her-face, Charmin Obaid-Chinoy. Men need to be made to feel uncomfortable. And the thing that makes men most uncomfortable these days is acting like men and taking responsibility and wielding the just power with which we have been entrusted for most of history. We feel less comfortable with that than ever. And to quote Don Corleone from a good movie, unlike some of these bad movies that have been coming out, from a good movie, tells Johnny Fontaine, what do I do? I don't know what to do, Godfather. I don't. You can act like a man. What's the matter with you? Right now, go to expressvpn.com/Michael Knowles Show. Let me ask you something. What if there was someone out there who kept a log of every single thing you did every minute of the day? I think that would be pretty creepy. Well, what if I told you that's exactly what happens every time you go online? Your internet provider is allowed to store logs of every website you've ever visited and can legally sell these data to anyone. That is why I love ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN reroutes your internet connection through their secure servers so your internet provider cannot see or log what you do online. Many of you might be wondering, well, if I'm routing all my data through a VPN, then doesn't that just mean that the VPN can see what I'm doing and log that data instead? First of all, I would say it's those data because data are plural. But second of all, you're right to think that. Many VPNs claim to have a no logs policy, but they've been caught logging. ExpressVPN is the only VPN I trust because they use trusted server technology. This makes it impossible for their VPN servers to store any data, including logs of any ExpressVPN customer. You don't have to take my word for it, ExpressVPN's word for it either. ExpressVPN is so confident in their no logs claim, they even had one of the biggest assurance firms, PwC, audit their technology. Stop letting people keep logs of what you do online. ExpressVPN.com/Michael Knowles Show. Get 3 extra months for free. ExpressVPN.com/Michael Knowles Show to learn more. You got 2 people ahead of Chris, I guess 3 people ahead of Chris Christie. You got Vivek Ramaswamy, but Vivek and Chris Christie's poll numbers are still relatively low. There are 2 people who are a little further up, even though they're still far behind Trump. That would be Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley. Or now we might have to reverse that. Because for the first time in a national poll, Nikki Haley has overtaken Ron DeSantis. I said yesterday on the show that for the first time in the RCP average, you had the candidates looking like they were tied for second. But now, I said, when is one of them going to overtake the other one? Well, now you got, out of 538, which is a pretty respectable poll, you now have Nikki Haley as the second place candidate. There is a very real possibility of a Nikki Haley nomination, and nobody believes this. Going back to when she announced her candidacy, everyone wrote her off and laughed at her. And I hate to say I told you so, but some of us said, hey, even if you don't like Nikki Haley, even if you think she's too moderate or something, this is an extraordinarily talented politician who was able to navigate very difficult waters and appeal to the establishment, to the Koch network, to the moderates, to the centrists, to center left, and to appeal to Trump supporters. She was not only a successful member of the Trump administration, she was a particularly popular member when she was the UN ambassador. And when she left, Trump gave her a little short of a ticker tape parade, okay? But they had a big meeting, lots of cameras. Oh, Nikki's been great. Then Nikki turned on Trump. Then she supported Trump again. Then she turned on Trump. And she's just navigated the waters very, very well. Don't forget, Trump is being indicted. The libs are going to do everything that they possibly can to keep him off the ballot. Totally unprecedented actions that they've been doing since 2015, 2016. Using the federal government to spy on his campaign, trying to undermine his entire administration with bogus charges cooked up by the FBI and the Democrats. Impeaching him twice, doesn't work. Then accusing him of insurrection based on nothing. Then throwing him off using a court to throw him off the ballot, using a Secretary of State to throw him off the ballot, doing their very level best to defend democracy by preventing people from voting for the most popular candidate. They'll do anything. They've got 4 indictments now. The only thing they've got left after that is assassination, and I don't put it past them. So the number 2 person might matter. Because there is a world, even if Trump is the most popular candidate and everybody in the world wants to vote for him, there is a world in which the political order just does not let him be the nominee, which is why the number 2 thing matters and could be Nikki. Man, what a great clip that was. Now, hold up, ring that bell, subscribe to the Michael Knowles YouTube channel. See you next time.